Bangalore against Kolkata. Both teams at identical points. Should be an absolute cracker. I'll come to you, Michael Vaughan, first. They're moving to Sharjah. It's a big six-hitting ground. But let's start with Kolkata, with the possibility they will have no Sunil Narine and no Andre Russell.
I always think if Sunil Narine is not going to play that much more in this IPL, I think KKR have gone. I don't see that they'll have enough in the bowling department to win this year's IPL or the batting department. I think, with Sunil Narine, you just know that you can kind of save him for 3 overs at the end, and he just causes chaos. Whatever you're defending or you're bowling first, he gets wickets. He's still a bowler that, when you think about how many times the players have played against him, they still don't pick him. They're still not sure what's coming out of the hand. So he's a massive loss. I really do believe if he's not going to play much of a role now going forward, KKR, their trump card. And then you add in Andre Russell, who obviously has picked up that injury. Two massive players. And without those two, Joy will know more. He used to work at KKR. I think they're really going to struggle to compete without those two star players.
I fully agree. If neither of them are playing, it is a huge issue. I have a feeling that Sunil Narine, they'll figure out, they'll go back to the match referee. You see, as I said, the match referee makes his list of what are the balls you were called on. So they'll go back, they'll go with the analyst, they'll look at the video, and they'll say, okay, maybe this ball needs to be eliminated. But as I said yesterday as well, the problem there is that once you're on notice, every umpire will watch you like a hawk, every match referee will watch you like a hawk. So it just makes you, under the scanner or radar much more. And, occasionally, let's face it, every bowler slips one in where it's slightly faster and, it just, every bowler uses that in his armory. And that now is going to be, Sunil will be more conscious than anyone else of what's happening. And if anyone can handle it, it's him, because he's temperament-wise, I haven't seen a better temperament. You could hit him for 4 sixes in over and he wouldn't, he looks straight at you in the eye and you'll think nothing has happened. But, will he be able to get through this? Really depends on now how the coaching staff and the management staff decide to do. Do they play him? Do they not play him? Do they play him and take the chance and say, look, he's not bowling that ball anymore, we'll challenge anyone who calls him? Or do they say that, no, let's hold him back, let's put him in cotton wool and use him closer to the semi-finals where we really need him? So it's really now tactically what they're going to do. As far as Andre is concerned, it's managing his body. And the one thing is that you have to say that Andre recovers quickly as well. For some reason, we have seen him in KKR having, run-ins which are horrific. He looks as if he won't play the next 7 days. And 2 days later, he's smiling and bowling in the net. So, he's one of those kind of characters. So they need those guys. Without them, they're in trouble.
Let's have a look at the possible options then, because there has been a bit of cotton wool that was used in the Caribbean for Sunil Narine, came back towards the end of the tournament. But just assuming that those two don't play, we know Chris Green has been carrying the drinks quite a while. He's been very good at it. And Tom Banton has been someone we've talked about. Michael, you can tell us, you would have seen him a lot more than we would have. So much potential, so much expectation. Is he someone who we can expect something from?
Yeah, he's a good player, young player, so you've not got too much consistency with him. He could have a great day out and get you a quick 50. Likelihood that he could hit one straight in the air as well. So no, he's got a fantastic career ahead of him. Interesting with Chris Green, you go to Chris Green to replace Sunil Narine. He's had problems with his action. He was left out the Big Bash in Australia with a problem with his action. So it's quite ironic that they might be replacing someone with the same kind of problem. They need those two star players. They're going to need those two star players. They've got to somehow work it out, because what will happen when you play KKR, Sunil Narine is in the side. It's the opposing side that's going to go to the umpires and the match referees saying, come on, you've got to have a look. Because everyone knows now that he's one away from being completely washed out of the tournament. So it is a big risk to play there. But Tom Banton is the kind of kid that if he gets thrown in there, it wouldn't surprise me if he struck 50 and 25 balls. He's got that kind of game. He's got the gift to be able to play cricket, can whack it hard, can whack it far. And if there's one venue that you'd like to go and have a bat, that's Sharjah. So if you're going to get a chance in the team, and you're looking at someone like Chris Green on the opposite side of the fence, I'm not too sure that you fancy bowling off spin in Sharjah. So he's probably hoping that the call doesn't come, and Tom Banton's hoping that the call does come.
What about the opposition? We know they've got a few players in there who are coming into form at just the right time. We'll talk about Chris Morris in a moment, but obviously AB de Villiers, when he decides to explode, if it's Sharjah, it could be mayhem. There could be a lot of business from the hardware stores across the road. And Virat Kohli, Michael Vaughan, has just started to show why he's Virat Kohli.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's no question all around the best player in the world across all the formats in my eyes. That one shot, the super over, it's amazing cricket that you can just play one ball and it just gets your confidence levels back up there and you start to believe. Even a great player like Virat Kohli would have lost confidence because he'd had a run of so many, not low scores, but lowish scores for Virat standards. And you go back to your room and think, oh, when am I going to start finding the middle of the bat? And that one ball that hit the middle of the bat, won the super over. He then went into the next game, got runs, and obviously the last innings was a tremendous knock to take his team pretty much all the way to get them to that competitive total. And I think it's helped his leadership. I think in the last two games, he's been very clever out in the outfield. And when you've got a new dimension to your attacking Chris Morris, who can bowl an aggressive bounce, who can bowl a Yorker, he can take one across the left-handers, he can take one back into the left-handers. As a captain, you start to get more belief because you've got more armoury with your bowling attack. So I think Chris Morris is a real key player for the RCB. They'll want Aaron Finch to find some form. Aaron struggled at the top. A tremendous player, a real striker. And if they can get him finding form, and then obviously Virat, and then you're adding AB de Villiers, they start then to look like a real powerful team. It's just that bowling. I always doubt that bowling. Is it going to be good enough under a huge amount of pressure, particularly later on in the tournament when it really matters? Is the bowling going to be good enough to really win them a game? I'm not too sure it is.
Well, let's have a look at what the options that they have in front of them. If we predict any possible changes in the lineup, we can obviously see certain players select themselves. Chahal's been brilliant. Sometimes we don't even mention him. Isuru Udana, who wasn't mentioned at the start of the tournament when we saw Dale Steyn in, Moeen Ali's come in, Adam Zampa's played, but Isuru Udana as an international player and the unheralded Washington Sundar, how outstanding. We talked about him the other day, Joy.
No, absolutely. I think Washington Sundar is outstanding. I think what the problem with all RCB bowlers is that they're shell shocked because anyone who plays regularly at the Chinnaswamy as their home ground, being a bowler already they know they've got the wrong cards in life. So all of them are like that, nobody, because you spent 4 years playing for RCB. And I remember Vinay Kumar when he was, after a while he got picked by KK and he said, finally a ground I can bowl at which isn't the size of a postage stamp where the ball doesn't fly off. And it actually impacts bowlers. So I think that's why their attack is always suspect. But I think this attack is now coming in there. Washington Sundar, mental strength. I think he has the mental strength. And the moment you have a spinner who not just bowls but relishes bowling in the early overs, has this mental spirit for it, I think it's a good place to be. Udana, I have my doubts about, because if Udana gets hit, I still like the way that playing Adam Zampa will make a difference towards the end of this tournament. In this tournament, the ball will turn towards the end. Zampa has a part to play. I also believe Shahbaz Nadeem has a part to play in this, but let's see how things go.